What new conspiracy theories do we have to discuss today?
Oh man, new ones?
Give me some new ones.
New ones.
You gave me the flat earth. You gave me the Jimi Hendrix throwing his wife off the balcony.
I didn't. No, that wasn't me. That may.
No, I think it was you. Somebody told me.
That must have been Sam Tripoli.
They threw Jimmy. It could have been Sam. Them throwing Jimi Hendrix's girlfriend off the balcony.
I'm just really entertained by following DC and what's going on. I'm super entertained by that. That's my real. That's Game of Thrones times 100. When you find out what the real Game of Thrones is like, shit, it's fucking fascinating. I'm down with every day. I spend 2 hours catching up on what has happened that day. Because you're getting from 90% of what you're getting from the mainstream media is bullshit.
So where do you read this stuff then?
You gotta, well, it's by process of elimination. You know, like the 90% of the mainstream media is not the truth. So you know, if you're searching for the truth, I like the truth. I don't like being bullshitted. I like knowing how they're trying to fuck with my brain. So by process of elimination, you know, okay, you just turn on CNN and go, okay, this is all bullshit. So let's try to find the truth. It's not that. So there's a lot of independent media outlets. I like listening to X22 Report, SGT Report. Those two right there, they'll give you the good shit right there. It's True Reporting, all on YouTube. All great stuff, man. X22, that's the best. That's like when those shootings happened last week. They weren't, you know, the people that are following what's going on were expecting it. They're like, oh man, they need something to clog up the news cycles because a lot of shit is going down right now with the D class. Man, people are going down with between the D class and Epstein's Island. Man, a lot of people in trouble, big, powerful people. So anytime something like that happens, it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, those shootings were, there was more people involved than we're being told, because there are multiple witnesses saying there was multiple shooters. And that's pretty common in these cases. Like there's multiple shooters, like people are like, they're saying there was 2 or 3 shooters. They keep saying that. But the official story, what you're getting on the mainstream news is that there was one shooter, crazy dude, you know, trying to blame it on Trump. The dude in Dayton, Ohio was a leftist. He was all about Elizabeth Warren. They're keeping quiet about that because, you know, everybody wants Trump out. You know, they're trying to bury him. And like, why are they trying to bury him? Why is 90% of the bullshit mainstream media trying to bury him? What's really going on? And then you look into it, and that's what the fascinating thing is. Like, why are they trying to bury Trump? You know, they try to pin him, like CNN try to pin him. They try to turn all Mexicans against Donald Trump by Donald Trump was talking about MS-13 and was saying they're animals, they're criminals, we got to get them out. So then CNN goes, look what Trump said about Mexicans. So they cut out the MS-13 part and just said they're animals, they're criminals, and we got to get them out. What does that tell you? What is that? They're trying to frame him. And then look what happened with Russian collusion. You know what's going down? The D class is about not only wasn't and isn't Trump a Russian spy, is they try to frame him with that. That's what the D class, that's what they're trying to bury. That's why they're clogging the news cycles. It wouldn't surprise me if there was, you know, like they take a schizophrenic, paranoid, crazy kid and fill him up with all this crazy shit that they need to do to drag him to a certain place, put a gun in his hand, and then have professionals do a bunch of shooting. Professionals get the fuck out of the way, and they just, you know, they got their patsy. That wouldn't shock me. Stuff like that wouldn't shock me. You know, there's you know who William Cooper is?
No.
William Cooper wrote the book Behold the Pale Horse, and he was worked for the Office of Navy Intelligence, and he figured out, he was a whistleblower, and he figured out a lot of shit. He wrote like that book, and he wrote this in the book real quick. This is 1991, he wrote this. Check this out, it's just a little paragraph. The government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for criminals to use. This is intended to foster a feeling of insecurity which would lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms, using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in a process called Orion. The CIA inoculated the desire in these people to open fire on schools and thus inflame the anti-gun lobby. This plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging the government to do away with the Second Amendment. Wrote that in 1991. It's what they do. They get some crazy kid, fill him up with all this propaganda. Anybody they want to blame it on. If they want to blame it on Castro, they could take a crazy guy, make him like a Castro fanatic, get him all crazy. They can't trust him to kill anybody because he's just crazy. Who knows what he's going to do? They just have to put him in the scene of the crime. They get some professionals, shoot up the place. They're all saying multiple shooters. Witnesses are saying there was multiple shooters. They're dressed in black. They look like professionals. San Bernardino, same thing. That's what people are saying. I don't know. That's what the witnesses are saying, people that were there. So it wouldn't shock me if those shootings, they did happen. People died. People got their lives ripped apart and destroyed. But wouldn't you want to find out, like, who exactly did it? If you found out your mom got murdered, and then the cops told you it was Joe, but then other people kept telling you, dude, it was Lee. It was Lee. Wouldn't you want to find out? Wouldn't you want to find out how it really went down? Instead of going, don't you say the cops said it was Joe? Don't disrespect me like that. The cops. And he goes, dude, gotta look into Lee, man.
So is it?
You know what I mean? But people get angry when you're saying, dude, what the official story is saying, man, there's witnesses saying there was multiple shooters. Don't you want to know how it really went down?
There's been 240 something shootings. You know, something's not right. Something's not adding up.
And they all, when you look at all those shootings, they all happen right at a time where people are going down. Some people are going to testify. All of them. There's a list. But this is what's supposed to happen. This person's supposed to testify. Boom, shooting. This person's supposed to testify. Boom, shooting. What they do, they clog. They don't even all this gun control talk. It's almost like they don't even care really that much about passing gun control laws. It's not really about that. It's about arguing about that. Taking up your time. Everyone has a certain amount of time to look into shit. So if they make, it seems like they're, it seems like it's sloppy on purpose. So all the conspiracy theorists could talk about it and spend a lot of time making podcasts about it and listen. That's what they want. It's like, talk about it. Yeah, sure they want gun control. And sure, they're going to piggyback on top of that. While we're at it, we might as well add a couple more gun control laws or whatever. But it's not about that. It's about clogging up the news cycle. Think about the shit that's going down right now. The proof that Trump got framed for Russia is coming out. That's coming out. And people are getting busted. They're going down for it. Boom. Shootings happen, 2 of them. Clogs up the news cycles. Everyone's talking about gun control, gun rights, and while we're on gun rights, there's nobody that can convince me that it makes sense for me to give up my guns that I have at my house just in case that alarm goes off and someone breaks in. Me and my wife got plans. We got the plan. We talk about it. That alarm goes off, someone's fucking getting shot, right? So some crazy kid hopped up on pills, goes shoots up a mall. Does it make sense that I give up my guns because he did that? That does not make any sense, that I have to give up my guns because there's some crazy people out there shooting people. I need my guns even more now. So there's no way anybody will ever convince me that it makes sense for me to give up my guns because some crazy kid shot up a mall. Like, it makes zero sense. How does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense.
Now, how would you start? I mean, obviously all the gun violence are these fucking rifles, these high-powered rifles with fucking automatic clips and 250 fucking rounds and all this shit. How do we start to chip away at this?
If I had a bazooka, you wouldn't have to worry about me. It's like, 80,000 people, 90,000 people a year die from car accidents. How come we're not trying to get rid of cars? And what about the 800,000 kids that go missing every year? No one gives a shit. What about that? What about all the kids that are getting raped on that Epstein Island? Where's your hashtag Me Too right there? Why is it only hashtag Me Too if it's some fucking out of work aging actress who said that some fucking producer grabbed her tits in 1972? Oh, Me Too that? Oh, Me Too that. Let's Me Too that. But what about all these kids? 800,000, that's an FBI statistic. 800,000 to 1 million kids go missing. And then sure, people go, they'll fight, they don't want to, they'll go, but most of those are like the dad stealing the kids away and the divorce and all that. I'm like, okay. 800,000, let's just say 750,000 are those cases, are like, a domestic dispute and they steal the kid or whatever. If it was 20,000 kids a year to get kidnapped and nobody gives a fuck, no one's no Me Too in that shit. No one cares. You know what if you tell them, I bet if you told, I talked about this on Sam's podcast too. I bet if I told you, if we just said, hey, fucking Epstein's murdering puppies on that fucking, oh, the vegans, they'll go fucking nuts. They're murdering puppies. We got to save the puppies. But kids, nobody gives a shit about kids. So shut the fuck up about your fucking gun logic and all that shit. You have no logic. You're worried about machine guns? Come on, man. If you're worried about machine guns, then I need a machine gun. You trying to take away machine guns? Shit, that means you need machine guns.
Listen,
why are you trying to take away machine guns?
when I'm walking down the block, I don't know what my statistics are of a car running a red light and hitting me. I know we have a lot of fucking accidents and car accidents, and the kids, I don't know what the fuck's going on with kids. I don't know who takes them. They take them to Mexico. I don't fucking know. What I do know is that I got to look at an exit sign now when I sit in the movie theater. If I go to a garlic festival, I got to look around fences and shit to see what's going on with my wife and kid the same way you do. Because when you watch this shit, now we can't go to Walmart. The other guy in Dayton shot people at 1 a.m. at night when they were in bar hopping. This concerns me to the point where whatever the fuck it is, something has to be done. I mean,
what about Chicago? Chicago gets that every weekend. No one's doing shit about that.
Chicago, Puerto Rico. I mean, listen, it's what we're trying to figure out here is it's out of control.
But what if they are being set up by some nefarious group?
I think that, listen, the Chicago things are fucking street beefs. And some guy gets shot with a 22 or some guy's at a bar or something like that. What concerns me is if you go to Vegas to see 9 Inch Nails with Danny.
You believe that if you ban machine guns that's not going to happen?
No. I think that it just creates higher demand and people will pay more.
I believe it's not going to change shit.
I don't know where it would start. I don't know. I don't know. Look at every day we look. Oh my God. Last night I had to go to Burbank for something.
You know how it starts?
At 7:30. And I made a right on this fucking street, right by the Nissan place on fucking Lancashire.
Oh, okay.
That McDonald's is on the corner, and they have a gas station or AM, PM on the corner there.
Right, Riverside,
or whatever. Did you see I was at the light, and I looked, and I saw a 6-inch rat go from the fucking side of the weeds down to a homeless tent. Ooh. That whole street is filled with homeless people. Right. So on my ride down, you pass CVS and the Ha-Ha and fucking the black haircutting place. And I'm sitting there going, where do you start with the homeless people? Where do we start with the guns, Eddie? I don't know if taking away the machine gun's going to stop shooting. What I'm fucking telling you is
You know where we start?
We gotta,
you wanna know where we
keep
start?
our fucking eyes
You know where we
open.
start?
How?
By not ignoring the fact that witnesses said there were multiple shooters and get to the bottom of that. Maybe we'll find answers to how it really starts.
So in El Paso, there's witnesses. There was
Multiple shooters. In many of the shootings, there's witnesses saying there was multiple shooters. The one in Parkland, there's a teacher saying, I opened the door and then I saw 20 feet away from me the killer. He was in armored helmet. He looked like a SWAT member shooting. She says this. Like, wait a minute. It was a kid that did it. He wasn't some big ass dude in SWAT gear. You know, not that the SWAT team did it. I meant like gear, like, you know, he had armor, body armor, and a helmet, and a fucking gun. We need to get to the bottom of that instead of ignoring that. Like, why are we ignoring that? That's the problem.
No.
Why are we ignoring all the mental pills that and the crazy pills that all these kids are on? Why are we ignoring that?
I'm gonna tell you something. And if you remember, this kid from El Paso, the kid from the Garlic Festival, and the kid that shot up the movie theater during Batman or whatever the fuck. Do you remember that fucking police mugshots? They looked like they were high on something.
Yeah.
Like fucking gone. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're saying that this kid in El Paso ain't saying much, that he's just sitting there kind of like in shock. You know, that he doesn't know what happened.
Look at the dude from the Colorado shooting, the movie theater, the Batman
Right,
shooter.
that one.
That guy was
Yeah, remember his picture? He was all fucking
But
crazy.
they ignore that. They ignore the pharmaceutical side of it. You know, they ignore that.
But so who
They want to go out like, maybe that'll make a difference.
Is
If we
it-
attack that, taking away guns, like, ain't gonna make a difference.
but is it the government behind it, or is it like
That's the question. That's the question. That's what we need to look into. What is going on here? What's
like-
going on? Why are coincidentally these shootings happening when big shit is about to pop in the government? We need to look into that. Like a detective would look into that.
What
Not a
was
detective
happening-
wouldn't just say, "Okay, case solved, it's over."
What was happening when Vegas went down?
There was a big trial going on.
Eddie's got all this shit in his phone. That's what I love about you.
so? Like, here's my question for you guys, because I'm a little bit more on the liberal side with guns. I've never had guns. I don't really want one, but I spent 6 months in Israel, where at every mall, every McDonald's, everything, they have army with metal detectors, because we probably can't get rid of guns. But do you think people would be okay with that, with having metal detectors and having retired army people everywhere? Like
October 2nd, 2017, the Benghazi mastermind Abu Khatala goes on trial. That same night, the Las Vegas massacre happened. I don't know, maybe it was a coincidence. I mean, I can go on. There's a whole list of all the shootings and what happened. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not true, but I don't know. There's like the Vegas shooting. There's a lot of like weird shit about that. No one's talking about it no more. It's gone. It's gone. Let that go. Why? Look at all the people that died. Why are they letting that go?
58 people.
Why are they letting that go? Why they bury that?
And like I said, I'm not here
Yeah.
trivializing it or making fun or.
I'm just saying we got to look into
I wanna know.
what really went down. Who was really behind
I want to
the
know
killing.
what really went down and how to stop this. You have a child. I have a child. Someday Lee's going to be married and have a child. People who listen to the show have a child.
Yeah.
The last thing you need is to be at a movie theater, an ice skating rink, and one of these retards pulls up with a
I mean, is it smart to? I mean, we all want a solution. Wouldn't one of the steps to the solution be like, let's find out what really happened? Why are people saying there were multiple shooters that looked like they were dressed like with body armor? That's some pretty important shit right there. That's important shit. If there was multiple shooters, it's pretty important.
but wouldn't Walmart have cameras?
Exactly. Let's see that.
How,
Let's
yeah.
see that. Let's see that. Let's see that.
Do you think they'll release it? Do they usually release that stuff?
Did they release any of the footage from? You think
have no
Mandalay
idea.
Bay has any cameras anywhere?
Yeah, they should. In the rooms though.
You don't need the cameras in the rooms to figure out what the fuck is going on. Except for the rooms, there's cameras everywhere, right?
Right.
Like, wouldn't you be able to see like dudes like lugging all that shit? None of that got released, right? I don't know. Maybe it's illegal to release it. It's gangster shit going on, man. There's gangster shit going on. A lot of people dying, you know, and a lot of clues, a lot of witness testimony being ignored and covered up and buried. I wonder why. Scary shit. Scary shit.
I just want him to stop. I just want, yesterday in New York, a motorcycle backfired on Times Square, and people ran like it was Godzilla. People ran down the street like it was a fucking Godzilla. What the fuck are you giggling about? Nobody.
Why did you like him? What did
He did an error.
I knew a second ago, but now it's... keep going from where you told it, because then...
You know that little forehead you got?